me just back out of here first, and then get my garage door shut, and then I can. Anyway, this is Escape from Trucking. I'm back in my Honda Civic going to Walmart, and I wanted to talk to you about these trade tariffs that just got implemented by President Trump. See, I wanted to make a video about other stuff that was going on, more personal stuff that was going on in my life and stuff like that, but this really upends everything. It just happened yesterday, and they really, since the tariffs really upend a lot of things economically, I figure I kind of feel the need to talk about it. What qualifies me to talk about it? I'm just a trucker, after all, right? Well, I do actually have a bachelor's degree in history and a minor in economics. So I'd like to think I do know a thing or two, despite the fact that I am a truck driver. People see truck drivers as uneducated and dumb and not worthy of talking. I disagree with that. But anyway, I guess more of on a personal level. I'll start with a personal level, because like I had this YouTube channel was designed to be, and I gotta talk over this engine. Maybe I should drive my town car in the future, because it's not as loud. It's nowhere near as loud. This channel was designed to, I hate talking so loud. I hate it, bro, because it feels so unnatural. This channel was originally designed to journal my journey out of truck driving, one way or the other, and at the same time be a journal of my theory that people want to drive more analog cars, and so I began buying analog cars. That was the idea, hence the purchase of my Lincoln Town Car, 2003. And various other things. I've been investing actively in the stock market since I was 23, and that was obviously a long time ago. So this is a journal of that, journal of the vehicles I own and upkeep and maintenance, and more than anything, transitioning out of truck driving and into something else, and my struggles with that. And I have to say that these tariffs have really upended that. They've caused a lot of uncertainty in my plans. Like, I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to have this job, because when I think about what I'm hauling in these trailers, a lot of it is foreign consumer goods that were ordered by people over the internet. So this could upend my job. It could change my investment thesis in investing the money I save into rental properties in more low-cost red states throughout the country. That was another thing I've been doing, and that puts that into question. It puts into question my car buying. I don't know if I'm going to be able to buy another analog car, because the cost of everything is going up so much, and I'm not really able to save as much money as I used to be able to save. So it puts a scrimp in that, and I think it probably, as I'll mention later, it kind of puts a crimp in that too. So it causes a lot of uncertainty. I've been trying to, for followers of this channel, they know that I've made the decision to get my insurance adjuster's license as a means to get out of trucking. I'm obviously still going to do that, but all of these things are upended by this tariff. These very high tariffs. It really is a big deal. It's an earth-shattering event. And I'll start with the bad things about this in the most obvious way, how it might affect you. I mean, it looks like Canada has escaped these tariffs, and it looks like Mexico has more or less escaped these tariffs. But I'll tell you the countries that haven't. Like 30%, 20% plus tariffs on all goods coming from China, Vietnam, Japan, South Korea, and others. A lot of East Asian stuff. Now, what comes from those places? Well, what comes from Japan? A lot of cars, although, you know, these Japanese companies have moved their assembly plants to the United States, so that softens the blow a little bit. But even still, they manufacture a lot of their parts in Japan. And so cars are going to get more expensive in the short run. Now, what about like electronics and consumer goods and stuff like that? Well, a lot of that comes from China and Vietnam, and I don't see those countries coming to an agreement with the United States. Well, maybe Vietnam will. But the bottom line is, a lot of these consumer goods that you buy, order over the internet, like this GoPro camera I'm using, I'm pretty sure that was made in China. Pretty sure it was assembled in China. My drive cam, pretty sure it was assembled in China. I got a whole bag of accessories for my GoPro. Chinese brand. All that stuff's gonna get a lot more expensive. And I don't see the United States being able to build up an industrial base anytime soon that makes those goods at a competitive level. It's just gonna get more expensive, man. It just is, and that sucks. Clothes. A lot of the clothes I bought, I looked through my wardrobe. A lot of it comes from Vietnam, Bangladesh, Egypt. Those places are all getting tariffed. So expect these low-end consumer goods to go up a lot. Produce, not so much, because, you know, Mexico and Canada, we import a lot of produce and dairy from Mexico and Canada, respectively. But our consumer electronics and cars will go up too. Not quite as much, but the prices, it's going to have to go up. And could that cause economic shocks? Yeah, it could. We're going to be importing a lot less. And there's a lot of truckers that move these things across the country. So it's going to hurt the trucking industry too. Well, it's going to affect the trucking industry. In the short run, it's going to hurt the trucking industry. I didn't think all this was actually going to happen. I really didn't. But it did, and now we got to talk about it. But what about the good? Well, the first thing I could tell you is that these tariffs are going to raise a lot of money for the U.S. government. And yes, the cost will be passed on to us. Understand that. But it will still raise a lot of money for the U.S. government, which could give them leeway to lower our tax burden a little bit, our income tax burden. Or lower the deficit. Lower the deficit and do something about that, which would all other things being equal, that would result in lower interest rates too for treasury bonds and everything else. I'm not going to explain that in this video, but it is an interesting tool on how to raise revenue for the government. Tariffs are. And in fact, before we had an income tax in the 1910s, that was apparently, my understanding is, how this government raised a lot of its revenue, through these tariffs. So it's a tool, and it's a tool that we haven't been using since after World War II. More on that later. I see a lot. I should tell you this: if I lived in the Midwest, I'm from the Midwest originally. If I lived in the Midwest right now, I'd be popping champagne. Well, maybe not popping champagne, but I'd be excited because there are a lot of brownfield industrial there are a lot of brownfield investments and projects in the Midwest that are going to be invested in. In other words, what do I mean? Well, there's a lot of old factories that were abandoned, and a lot of factories in the Midwest that are not at their ideal capacity that can be ramped up very quickly. And those brownfield abandoned factories, while I don't think they could be online within 30 days, it's much cheaper to reactivate a shut down factory than it is to build a brand new one. And these factories are like this, are all over these underutilized or closed factories are all over the place in the Midwest. I really think the Midwest is these tariffs are serious, and I really think the Midwest is going to do very well. States like Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, I think they're going to be the recipients of a lot of direct investment. Oh shoot, it's raining. Darn it. These tariffs, they really needed to happen. If you notice, these quote-unquote reciprocal tariffs are only half of what the other countries' tariffs to the United States are. So they needed to happen. Ooh, police officer. The U.S. has been getting taken advantage of since after World War II, economically speaking. It was part of the global economic paradigm, and it's not fair. It has not been fair to American workers and the American middle class and the American working class. And if you're a member of the American middle class, American working class, Trump did this for you. These tariffs are for you. They're to protect you. Morally, absolutely, I agree with these tariffs from a moral standpoint. Economically, I'm not so delusional to sit here and tell you that they're not going to cause some kind of economic shock, because they absolutely will. These tariffs, as steep as they are and as sudden as they've been onset, yes, it will cause major economic shocks and major uncertainty. In fact, the world as we know it is the economic order as we know it is pretty much done. After World War II, the GATT, I don't know exactly, GATT, I don't remember what that, GATT, I don't remember what it stands for, it's an acronym. But I think it came out of Bretton Woods in the late 1940s after World War II. And it was basically a paradigm. It basically brought us a paradigm of lowering trade barriers from Western countries, developed countries, specifically the United States. We lower our tariffs, and these other countries that are in the free world, that were in the free world, they get to have high tariffs so as to develop their economies within the Western economic system. Basically, this was how war-torn and or third world countries after World War II were encouraged to develop. They get high tariffs to protect their local domestic industry. We lower our tariffs, we remove our tariffs, and give them a market which to sell it to, so that they can develop rapidly. And that's been the foundation of our economic paradigm for the last 80 years now. And it's gone. It's been wiped out. And so this is a big realignment in the world. Understand that. It will affect all of us. I mean, unless Trump comes back in a week saying, oh, psych, it's not true, which he's done before. It's an earth-shattering event, and I don't know what the heck is going to result from it. And I will go another step further. The people who say they know what's going to happen with any kind of precision from this are full of shit. Because, like, okay, the only historical analog we have to tariffs is from before GATT, is from Smoot-Hawley. Like, I hear people referencing on TV. I hear these idiots on TV referencing Smoot-Hawley. Smoot-Hawley was 1929, referencing William McKinley. William McKinley was the early 20th century. That time is so far back, so far away. Our world has changed so much since then, so as to make those historical analogs irrelevant. What happened in 1929 with Smoot-Hawley, the Smoot-Hawley tariffs, and what happened during the time of William McKinley is absolutely irrelevant to what's going on now. You can't take the effects of what happened from tariffs at that point in time and draw any kind of analogy to what's happening today, because that world, that economy, all the technology and the way we all live our lives is so very different. I find it just silly that people are using those as some kind of historical comparison by which to draw conclusions of what's going to happen with the tariffs that just got announced today in 2025. It's really stupid. I wouldn't look into it. And I understand that there's a school of thought with economic experts today that say the tariffs are disastrous, they're calamitous, and look what happened during Smoot-Hawley. I get that. I'm more agnostic on tariffs, because tariffs really did protect American industry, American domestic industry for much of this country's history up until just after the Second World War. So, I'm more agnostic on the effects of tariffs, and I'm more agnostic on the efficacy of tariffs and what tariffs do. But one thing I will absolutely tell you before I close this video, because I think I've said all I need to say and I don't want to waste your time. One other thing I will tell you is that this is the end of GATT. This is the end of the economic, we just wiped out a pillar of the global economic paradigm since after World War II, GATT, and the global free trade regimen. It's over, and it is going to have a big effect, and it's going to have all kinds of uncertainty, and it's put my plans in limbo as far as I'm concerned, and your plans too, because we don't really know what the economic world is going to look like going forward. So I don't know, all this uncertainty makes my stomach a little queasy. It makes me nervous. I don't know, how do you feel about it? That's where I'm at. That's how I feel about this. I'm gonna stop this car and get me some gas. But you have a good day, and I'll see you soon.